A GI in Vietnam personalized his M1 helmet with photos of his girl back home, a common sight at the Chu Chi base camp in '68. This simple act served as a constant reminder of the world he was fighting to return to. A young Stephen Hawking stands with his first wife, Jane Wilde, around the time of their marriage in 1965. She had met the brilliant physicist just before his life-altering diagnosis, a partnership that would defy the odds for decades. Photographer Terry O'Neill captured this playful shot of Audrey Hepburn relaxing poolside in the south of France. It was a rare, unguarded moment for the actress, taken shortly after she finished filming Two for the Road in 1967. Even as a private first class in the U.S. Army, Elvis Presley couldn't stay away from the music that made him famous. Here he is in Germany during his service from 1958 to 1960, trading a guitar for a turntable. A construction worker known as a skyboy balances casually on a steel cable during the building of the Empire State Building around 1930. These men worked hundreds of feet in the air with little more than nerve for safety equipment. In 1924, a circus hippo named Lotus became a bizarre spectacle by pulling a custom-built cart. It was a popular publicity stunt, though probably not the most efficient form of transportation. A man named Bill Lundy, who claimed to be one of the last living Confederate veterans, poses by an F-100 Super Sabre jet in the 1950s. The photograph starkly contrasts the era of muzzle loaders with the new age of supersonic fighters. Ronald Reagan and Mikhail Gorbachev approach each other for a handshake at the Geneva Summit in November 1985. This first meeting between the two leaders marked a crucial turning point in the final years of the Cold War. Well-dressed visitors in 1905 cautiously make their way across the original Capilano Suspension Bridge in Vancouver. The bridge, made of wire cables and planks, offered a thrilling view of the canyon hundreds of feet below. For a 1960s publicity shot, actress Raquel Welch was buried up to her neck in sand on a Malibu beach. It was another memorable image created to promote the film that made her a star. 1 million years BC. 3 Hollywood heavyweights, Lauren Bacall, Betty Grable, and Marilyn Monroe, share a moment backstage during the filming of How to Marry a Millionaire in 1953. The film was one of the first ever to be shot in the new CinemaScope widescreen format. President Lyndon B. Johnson signs the landmark Civil Rights Act of 1964 in the East Room of the White House. Standing directly behind him is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., witnessing the historic moment he fought for. The noticeable upward curve of the Titanic's deck wasn't a sign of sagging, but a deliberate design feature called shear. This graceful arc improved the ship's stability in rough seas and was considered essential for an elegant ocean liner. A Lufthansa attendant assists a passenger boarding a Fokker F-2 at Tutor Aircraft in the 1920s. Back then, commercial flying was a new adventure, and the planes were small, unpressurized, and made mostly of wood and fabric. Fleetwood Mac's Stevie Nicks performs on stage around 1989 during the tour for her solo album, The Other Side of the Mirror. Her unique combination of rock and roll and mystical fashion made her a style icon of the era. Roller skating was king at Venice Beach in the late 70s, attracting all kinds of characters to the boardwalk. The guy's shirt identifies him as part of the Venice Skate Patrol, a volunteer group that tried to keep the fast-moving scene from getting out of hand. After 11 long years of wartime and post-war austerity, candy rationing finally ended in Great Britain in 1953. This chaotic scene shows youngsters rushing into a shop to get their first taste of unlimited sweets. Before he became a sharp-witted political satirist, a young Stephen Colbert posed for this photo around 1984. He was studying to be a serious actor at Northwestern University and was part of an improv comedy group called the No Fun Stoppables. In the late 1800s, climbing the Great Pyramid of Giza was a standard part of any tourist's trip to Egypt. Local guides would assist visitors up the massive stone blocks for a small fee, an activity that has since been banned to protect the ancient structure. Entertainers from a USO camp show perform for a massive crowd of American GIs in Normandy, France, shortly after the D-Day landings. These shows provided a much-needed morale boost and a brief distraction from the realities of the front lines. Actor Paul Newman takes a water taxi during the Venice Film Festival in 1963. He was in town promoting his film HUD, for which he would receive an Oscar nomination for Best Actor. Diners at the Windows on the World restaurant enjoyed a stunning view from the 107th floor of the World Trade Center's North Tower. For over 2 decades, it was one of New York's most famous dining spots, offering a panorama that included the Brooklyn Bridge. An American soldier, his helmet marking him as the Oklahoma Kid, plays guitar for his fellow troops in Vietnam in 1968. In the brief moments of downtime between patrols, a simple song could provide a powerful connection to home. A drive-in car hop delivers a tray of bottled sodas to customers in the 1950s. This curbside service was a popular feature of American diners and drive-ins, where waitresses often wore distinct branded uniforms. A year after Star Wars made him a household name, Mark Hamill attends an event with his wife, dental hygienist Marilu York, in 1978. The couple married that same year and have been together ever since. Actress Joan Crawford poses for a publicity still for her 1941 film, A Woman's Face. To look the part of a laundry worker, she's using a heavy, sad iron, a solid piece of metal that had to be heated on a stove. On New Year's Day, 1976, art student Danny Finegood altered the iconic Hollywood sign to read Hollyweed. The prank was his college art project and coincided with the day a new California law relaxing certain cannabis penalties went into effect. Chinese leader Mao Zedong takes a swim in 1961, an activity he often used for political propaganda. These highly publicized swims were meant to project an image of strength and revolutionary vigor to the Chinese people. An African-American family of migrant farm workers from Florida pauses on the roadside in North Carolina in July 1940. They were part of the Great Migration, heading hundreds of miles north to Cranberry, New Jersey, in search of better economic opportunities. Winona Ryder and Keanu Reeves attend an event in 1992, the same year they co-starred in Bram Stoker's Dracula. Years later, they would joke that they might have been legally married by the real Romanian priest used during the film's wedding scene. An American Airlines attendant checks on passengers aboard a flagship flight in the 1950s. In the golden age of air travel, cabins were spacious, meals were served on real china, and flying was considered a first-class experience. A soba noodle delivery man in 1950s Tokyo performs a remarkable balancing act on his bicycle. Before the era of motor scooters, this was a common sight, requiring incredible skill to navigate the busy streets without spilling a single order. The first-class gymnasium aboard the RMS Titanic featured the latest exercise equipment of 1912, including an electric horse and rowing machines. Access to the state-of-the-art facility was scheduled by gender and available for only 1 hour a day. Actress Rita Hayworth poses for a playful kitchen-themed publicity photo in the 1940s. These wholesome domestic shots were a popular way for studios to make their biggest stars seem more relatable to the American public. Frank Sinatra gets swarmed by his devoted fans, known as Bobby Soxers, in the mid-1940s. This level of fan hysteria, dubbed Sinatra Mania by the press, was a cultural phenomenon unlike anything seen before. Bruce Lee, serving as the martial arts advisor for the 1968 film The Wrecking Crew, demonstrates a kick on actress Sharon Tate. He coached Tate for her fight scenes, helping to make her on-screen action look more convincing. During a break on the set of the 1959 epic Ben-Hur, actors in full Roman armor take a spin on a modern Vespa scooter. The candid moment captures the clash of ancient history and modern Italian life behind the scenes of the massive production. 3 members of the Women's Motorcycle Corps of Los Angeles deliver a witty warning to motorists in 1927. The sign offers a clear choice: drive safely through their town or get a much faster personal tour of the local jail. 4 women roller skate down a New York City street during World War II, urging citizens to do their part for the war effort. With gas rationing in full effect, patriotic campaigns like this encouraged alternative forms of transportation. Actress Martine Beswick, who played the doomed agent Paula Kaplan, takes a break on the set of the 1965 James Bond film Thunderball. Filming took place on location in the Bahamas, adding to the movie's exotic and sun-soaked appeal. For his role as Vito Corleone in The Godfather, Marlon Brando famously stuffed his cheeks with cotton during the audition to create the character's bulldog jowls. For filming, a dentist created a special mouthpiece to achieve the same effect more comfortably. NASA engineers installed a small patch of Velcro inside the Apollo astronauts' helmets. This simple, low-tech addition solved a high-tech problem, allowing the space explorers to scratch their noses during long spacewalks. Theodore Geisel, better known as Dr. Seuss, looks over sketches of his unique characters in the 1950s. His first book was rejected by over 20 publishers for being too unconventional before a friend at Random House finally agreed to print it. A photo from the late 1970s shows actress Marceline Bertrand, years before her daughter Angelina Jolie became a star. Bertrand put her own acting ambitions on hold to raise her children after her separation from fellow actor Jon Voight. Amphibious Douglas Dolphin aircraft lined the ramp at the Catalina Seaplane Airport in the 1930s. Owned by chewing gum magnate William Wrigley Jr., the airport was a popular gateway to the resort island off the coast of California. A saloon keeper named John Schrank stands calmly under arrest after attempting to assassinate Theodore Roosevelt in Milwaukee in 1912. Roosevelt survived because the bullet was slowed by a thick 50-page speech and his steel eyeglasses case tucked in his breast pocket. Howard Hughes's massive H-4 Hercules, nicknamed the Spruce Goose, taxis across the water during its one and only flight in 1947. Made almost entirely of wood due to wartime metal restrictions, it remains the largest flying boat ever built. An unlikely pair, Winston Churchill and Charlie Chaplin share a moment on the set of Chaplin's film City Lights in 1929. The two struck up a lasting friendship, finding common ground in their shared admiration for Napoleon. During the filming of the 1968 Western Shalako, co-stars Sean Connery and Brigitte Bardot pose for a candid photo. The movie brought together the Scottish James Bond and the French screen siren for an unusual pairing in a rugged American genre. A young Stevie Nicks is pictured in the 1970s, around the time her musical partnership with Lindsey Buckingham led them to join Fleetwood Mac. Her distinct, layered fashion sense was already becoming a signature part of her rock and roll persona.